The very best businesses, and specifically the very best professional services firms, don't just build an amazing experience or product. They also build narrative power for their business. Narrative power is the ability of people or a business to drive thoughts and actions and to influence their people inside the business and outside the business. It is something that you do intentionally, that requires leadership, that requires courage, that requires drive, focus, and to deal with a complex system of stories, of practices, and norm and habits. It works whether you are a very large organization or a solopreneur. And it brings many benefits because when you can influence people, you can align them, you can attract them to your business, and you can help them more efficiently towards a purpose that is greater than just your organization. Many years ago, this was a concept that was foreign to me, and I discovered through a project at the time that when you build that kind of power, you can achieve incredible things, but it's a complex thing. So over the years, I framed and I crafted and now honed a system, a framework, or a model, should I say, called the Strategic Narrative Canvas. And today, I am excited to share with you a new version of the Strategic Narrative Canvas. So let me bring it here on screen and let's go over the canvas and let's go over the specifics of each area of the canvas. First of all, here is a bird's eye view of it, and I'd like to go over the structure of the canvas. You can basically see the circles, and the four areas of the canvas that I call the four disciplines, which are internally and individually visionary leadership, externally and collectively meaningful marketing, internally and collectively purposeful operations, and externally and individually authentic selling. So I designed this model this way because I've always believed that building a strategic narrative is building a system that is holistic. It's an integral approach. It's not just what is happening outside of your business or your organization. It should connect what happens outside, of course, with what happened inside. When your message outside, for instance, align with how people work together and how you view the future of your organization, of your company, well, things become much more powerful and much, much easier. So that's just one example. But this principle works obviously the same way, whereas you talk about product or innovation or positioning or finances and so on. So let's start with the upper left quadrant of the canvas here, because it's really the area that most people think about when they think about strategic narrative. They think it's a meaningful, they just think it's a marketing thing. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you know that to me, narrative power is not just done through marketing, but marketing, I agree, is a very important part of it. What do we have in meaningful marketing? First of all, meaningful marketing is the discipline of creating content and creating things that really help align your market with your business. So if you look at this diagram here, you can see kind of a diagonal trajectory between your market and the core of your activity here, the core of your work. There are three practices within this discipline. The first one is called business vision. And I recently recorded another video in which I explained that a business vision is different than a vision for your business. A business vision is outside centric. It's not so much self-centered. It's not a narcissistic view of how great your company is and how wonderful and how potent it will be in the future. No, a business vision is the vision that you have for the present and the future of what is happening in your industry, in your market, in your community. It is really the opportunity that you see that is possible if everyone rallied forces to drive change and bring a service that is better than what exists already. The next practice here in the discipline of meaningful marketing is strategic positioning. Strategic positioning is defining a clear state, a clear position, as the name indicates here, in people's mind, in the market's mind for your business. Strategic positioning for a professional services firm is typically expressed in terms of what you do and for who you do it. And then comes many other details related to products, prices, geographical location, specific demographics of the people you serve, and so on. But at a very base level, strategic positioning should express what you do for who you do it. For instance, MetaHelm is providing strategic narrative services for CEOs, founders, and business owners of professional services firms. So that's the example that is there for my business. The third practice here in this discipline is meaningful publication. And it's probably where you have to, one of the practices where you have to be the most disciplined. Meaningful publication is the practice of, again, aligning how you see your work and reflecting on your work and doing this in public. That's why I use the word publication. It's basically public journaling, to share your insights, share your discoveries, share the specific approach that you have in the way you deliver the work. So those three practices here are not just the only three, but they are the most essential one in the strategic narrative approach to marketing and meaningful marketing for professional services firm. One more thing I forgot to mention. Why do I call this meaningful marketing? Well, meaningful marketing, as I have explained in the past, is marketing that serves not only your audience, but equally you as the creator and the originator, the founder of this view that you have of this content. It should help you not only get more visible, get discovered, get some inbound leads, but also it should be the opportunity for you to reflect on your practice and dig deeper in the reasons why you do the work that you do. So that's for meaningful marketing. Let's move to the upper left quadrant of the model here that I called purposeful operations. So as you can see here in this model, purposeful operations is about anything that happens internally to your organization and also collectively. There's a very core, a very important principle here that I'd like to highlight again, or maybe remind you of, which is the way you deliver your work is the material expression of your perspective. And really, your perspective is there to help you operate and organize your team, your processes, your planning, everything you do with more purpose, more intentionally. So there are three practices in this quadrant. The first one is, like I said, developing a strong perspective. How do you develop a strong perspective? Well, it's connected to what you did in the marketing area of the quadrant, which is to publish authentically, frequently, and as often as possible. Developing a perspective is about setting the guiding principles, the key ways, the key methods, the key elements of your philosophy for how you will do the work. Typically, it takes the form of a document that can be called a manifesto, or the 10 things we know to be true. So Google, for example, has one that is available online. It's called 10 things that we know to be true. And this expression of your perspective, it should be really something that helps everyone inside your organization first really align around how you do the work that you do. The next piece here is business planning. And that is something that I see so many professional services firms just overlook. They just neglect this piece here. It's either a practice that is too rigid or non-existent. There is very hardly an in-between. Business planning is the backbone. It's the spine for your business. If you don't plan your business, if you don't look at how much time you're spending, what will be your launches, your operations are not going to work really, really well. And you may start to make decisions that feel random. But if you align your business planning with your perspective and the purpose of your company, it's going to get much more powerful and much more easy. So in that area of the quadrant, you want to build everything that helps your organization, again, work more purposefully. I want to make sure I don't forget the third one, the third practice here, that is I call purposeful teaming. Purposeful teaming is about building teams that operate at a higher level of confidence, of clarity, of creativity, because you align people with ways of working that feel easier, that feel more intuitive, that feel sometimes more organic, and you hire for that specific type of culture within your organization. You hire for culture, and then you train on skills next. You hire for the narrative, for the higher purpose, the higher calling of the organization, and then you let people grow and you help them position and go where they want to go within your organization. That's a powerful yet sometimes different way to look at how to build a company, how to build an organization, and that's the strategic narrative way. So now that we have marketing and a team to operate your company, let's look at how you will sell your services to your clients. And let's go over to authentic selling. Authentic selling is the discipline to align your product with the wants of your clients. So how do we do this? Well, the first practice that we should be focusing on is on developing an offering comprised of different offers that feels intentional, that feels strategic, that feels like has been built with your client in mind. But also, if you heard me, in the previous discipline here, align to your perspective here. Keep in mind that all of these practices are on the same circle here because they are interconnected. They belong to the same system. So if you do a good job at developing service offerings that feel right, that feel authentic, that feel aligned to who you are as a company, as a business, that feel aligned to your purpose, you're going to be much more successful at onboarding the right clients, the clients that make sense for your business. But to get clients, you have to do a few things. First of all, you have to practice authentic outreach. Authentic outreach is the practice that consists of connecting, of offering with generosity, with truth, the opportunity to work with you. Here is the thing, with professional services firm, your ability to scale is much lower than for a product firm. In fact, your capacity is much more limited. Think about it. How many clients can you help at a given time? Depending on the size of your firm, it is ranging probably anywhere between a handful to maybe 100, okay, maybe 200 or a few more if you're a very, very large global international firm. But if you see my point here, what I mean by your capacity is limited is that to fill up your portfolio of clients, you have to be a little picky. You have to wear the hat of the directors of admission. You have to wear that mindset. You have to embrace that mindset because you have to vet each client, and that's how you reach out more authentically to people, by telling them, hey, we have this great offer that aligns with what the issues that you may run into. Would you consider applying? Would you consider working with us, and we'll make sure that we are a great fit. So if you do this, all of a sudden, outreach, sales outreach becomes much more true, much more easy. It becomes much more relevant. It almost becomes joyful. Personally, I do outreach every day, about 30 minutes to an hour a day, depending on whether it's a call or I have to send emails or contact people and to let them know that I exist, that I'm here to serve in case they need me. And that's a joy. It's something that I really look forward. How many times have you heard somebody tell you, I love selling? Selling in our profession has such a negative connotation. Nobody wants to sell, right? Because what we put behind selling is the inauthentic, manipulative way of selling. So I'll stop there for authentic outreach and move to expert selling. You see, if you are an expert professional firm, you are not in the business of highly promoting your work. One of my colleagues used this image that I really love. Is like, okay, experts don't walk in the streets with a sandwich board handing out flyers like in New York in the street. That's not what experts do, right? Experts stand there shining just like a lighthouse, letting people know around them that they are here to save, to fix, to evolve, to change, to drive any enhancements that their client need to experience, and they let their client come to them, right? It's equally balanced. So that's in a nutshell here what experts do, but there is a lot more to say about this. All right, I just covered 3 areas, and now I want to cover the fourth area, which I called visionary leadership. All that system is great. Concepts hopefully make sense to you, but everything here does not work without a leader able to develop a vision and drive that vision forward by mobilizing people, and that by mobilizing themselves first. So let's look at the discipline of visionary leadership. And I think that this is where the word discipline makes the most sense. No matter what happens in this discipline, if you want to build narrative power, you will have to show up relentlessly. No matter if you're tired of your business, if you're sick, if something bad happened or you couldn't do it that day, every day you need to show up as yourself, and you're a human, right? And humans are imperfect, unlike AI. But humans are very powerful and go way beyond what AI can do. But that's another topic. Okay, so what do we have under visionary leadership? In visionary leadership, we need 3 things. The first thing that we need at the center here is to build evolutionary purpose. Most people think that purpose is something that is set in stone, that once they figured it out, they can carve it out, they can fix it, and it will be true forever. And that's a very fixed mindset. You see, I see purpose as something that changes, that may evolve over time. It could be always aligned to a mission far out in the future, but your purpose may evolve based on the context. What if a crisis like COVID occurs? What if you have to change geographical location, right? Your purpose may vary based on who you are as a person, who you are as a group, and it's your responsibility to cultivate the process and to learn the process of connecting with your true, deep evolutionary purpose. How do you do this? Well, there is a famous exercise that you've probably heard me talk about before, which is exploring your origin story. Your origin story is about the defining moments that set you on the path of founding your business or starting or joining your business, and that really give the impulse to your purpose at any given time. So a visionary leader not only has a vision, not only has a purpose, but also knows how to manage the hurdles, and is really focused on a healthy balance of managing their life and managing their work which is what I call healthy productivity. Healthy productivity is not just a set of mechanical tasks like planning your work and creating focus and creating inspiration on demand when you use an app like FocusMate. It's doing this by finding life, joy, and really a resonance in the way you work, right? That's a healthy way to be productive. You know, if you are in the business of running a professional service firm, you probably imagine yourself working until you retire or you die. There's this famous quote again by another one of my colleagues, which is, you will die with your boots on. That's right. So building this type of organization and building narrative power is only possible if you have a sustainable leadership practice, and you can only do that if you have a healthy dose of healthy productivity. And finally, and I purposefully keep this one practice for the end of this video, because it's probably the most critical one out of the 12 practices here in this model. And it's what I call inner narrative. Narrative building, like I said, earlier, most people think it's a marketing thing. It's outside, it's what we communicate, is what we say, the ads, the website, the content, it's all happening outside. But where does it start? It starts inside our mind, our head, our hearts. And if you don't manage the narrative inside, none of that system is possible. You're managing your inner narrative is learning to manage the dialogue that you're having with yourself. And sometimes that dialogue can turn to be toxic and negative, right? You may have doubts, you may have fears, you may have questions, you may have things that you rehash all the time that just hinder you in your focus time, that create a lack of confidence, that make you hesitant when it comes to selling your services to your clients. So narrative and narrative power is also about your inner narrative. It's also about what's happening inside. So I want to close there, because many times that's what I had to manage to come up with this model, the strategic narrative canvas. I doubted, and I still sometimes second guess myself, because I see this work as still in progress. Also, although I shared with you a very polished diagram here, it's only just one more version of it. And I can't wait to show you the next version next year. But for now, that's what we have to work with. So I hope that this helped. I hope that this helped put words and an image behind what I've been discussing and exploring here. I hope the strategic narrative canvas is something that helps you make better decisions, that help you map out what you should be doing, that help you see the balance and where you might run into problems and gaps and struggles. Maybe some of those practices don't even exist in your world yet, and that's okay. That's okay. I recommend those 12 practices because, based on my experience and my research, I see that those practices are the most impactful. They are the most powerful. They are the quintessential things you can start today to grow a sustainable business that is not only good at what they do, at what it does, but also that can influence the course of whatever people do outside and inside. It can drive alignment. It can drive change. It can drive innovation. It can resist financial crisis, right? It's all about resilience. It's all about changing the norms, changing the games, and reestablishing balance in the rules of business inside and outside your business. Okay, I think I've said enough. I hope you like this model. I will. I commit to come back more frequently, more often. It's actually one of my intentions this year, is to come back and give you additional information about this model, show you how to work with it in specific cases, like planning, like assessing where you are, like making better decisions and so on. But for now, that's the version. If you are interested in knowing more, I will do a course this week, March 30th. Actually, it's in 2 days from now, called the Strategic Narrative Canvas, Charting the Course to Success for Your Professional Services Business. If you cannot attend this course, just keep in mind that it will be recorded and it will be available for sale on my website at metahelm.com, including the recording and the material coming with a template for that model. All right. Once again, I look forward to hearing your comments, your thoughts, and questions. Thank you.